In April, ground beef in America hit $6.90 a pound, a record. Same cut, same cow, $1 more than a year ago. And I know what you're thinking. Inflation, greed, somebody's price gouging your dinner. Here's the part that should bother you more than any of that. Even if every rancher and every meatpacker in America were perfectly honest tomorrow, the price still could not come down. Not wouldn't, couldn't. Because the reason isn't a villain, it's a cow. And by the end of this, you'll understand why the fix for expensive beef is the exact thing making it more expensive. Here's the part everybody gets wrong, including the angry headlines. Your beef did not get expensive because anyone suddenly wanted more of it. It got expensive because the supply physically isn't there. And to see that, you have to stop looking at the price. Start looking at the count. America has the smallest cattle herd in about 75 years, 86 million head. You'd have to go back to around 1951 to find fewer. And the animals that actually make the calves, beef cows, are at their lowest since 1961. 27.6 million. And it's not turning around yet. Last year's calf crop, the entire next generation, came in down again. Cattle on feed, down. 7 years of shrinking in a row. So this is not a story about demand going crazy. It's a story about supply that isn't there. There are fewer cattle in this country than at almost any point you have been alive. The question is why you can't just fix that. And the answer is the most boring villain in all of economics. A cycle. I went looking for who to blame, and I kept landing on the same thing. It's called the cattle cycle, and it is not new. Economists have counted 12 of these swings since 1890. 12 times the herd has grown, crashed, and grown again through 2 world wars, the Dust Bowl, and every farm bill Congress ever passed. Here's how it turns. Beef gets expensive. Ranchers want to cash in, so they grow the herd. More cattle eventually means more beef, which means lower prices. So they stop growing, the herd shrinks, and beef gets expensive again, round and round. One full loop takes 8 to 12 years. Which means the person who plants a cattle business at the top of the price, expecting to get rich, usually harvests it at the bottom. The cycle eats optimists for a living. Tidy story. Until you notice the trap hidden inside it. Here's the part that makes no sense the first time you hear it. To grow the herd, a rancher keeps his young females, heifers, instead of selling them. He holds them back to become mothers. But a heifer held back to breed is a heifer that does not go to the slaughterhouse. So the moment ranchers decide to fix the shortage, beef supply drops even further. And prices go up. Read that again because it's the whole video. The cure for high beef prices, more cows, starts by removing beef from the market. The fix looks exactly like the problem for years. And you cannot rush it because a cow is not a factory. She carries a calf for 9 months and produces about 1 a year. That calf then spends most of a year on grass. Then it goes to a feedlot to finish, another few months of grain to reach weight. Add it up. From the decision to rebuild to extra beef actually landing in the case, 3 years. Minimum. 3 years is not a policy choice. You cannot subsidize a cow into growing faster. You cannot deregulate gestation. There is no button. There is only a calf and time. So why is the herd this small right now? Blame the sky. From 2020 to 2023, a brutal drought baked the grass across the cattle country of the Great Plains. And grass is the whole business. It's the free fuel a cow runs on. When it burns off, feeding a cow stops being cheap and starts being a loss. So ranchers did the only thing the math allowed. They sold. They sent cows to slaughter early, and including the females that make next year's calves, which for one strange season made beef cheaper. You were getting a discount on the seed corn. Then the rain came back. And the ranchers who were left looked at their empty pastures and started keeping every heifer they had. Which is exactly why beef is climbing now. The rebuild is the price spike. Now let me argue against myself because you're right to be suspicious. Come on. 4 companies control most of the meat packing. This is margins, not cows. And packer concentration is real, worth its own video. But it can't invent an animal. You cannot slaughter a cow that was never born. 27.6 million beef cows is the number, whether the packers are saints or sharks. The herd is the floor, and we're standing on it. Then import it. Sure, but you can't import your way out fast either. Beef is heavy, borders open and close, and the other big exporters are short too. Imports smooth the edge. They don't refill a 75-year hole, and here's the quiet part. You keep buying it anyway. Beef is one of those things people don't give up gracefully. The price goes up 20% and the burgers still go in the cart. Maybe a cheaper cut, maybe a little less, but it stays on the table. Economists have a dry word for that, inelastic. In English, they know you'll pay. Which is the whole reason a shortage becomes a price instead of an absence. Nobody has to ration beef. The number just quietly does it for them. And the people who feel it first are the ones for whom a steak was already a small event. So let me tell you what this was actually about. Because it was never really about beef. Nobody is hoarding cows. There's no boardroom deciding to starve you of burgers. Every rancher holding back a heifer this year is doing the smart, rational, textbook correct thing. And the sum of all that rational behavior is your grocery bill going up and staying up for years. That's the villain, not a person. A system with a 3-year delay baked into it, where everyone acts sensibly and you still lose. And I'll be honest, my first instinct was the same as yours. Somebody's ripping us off. But the ranchers didn't make a cow take 3 years to grow. Nature did. We're just the ones standing at the register, paying the interest on it. If you'd rather understand the machine than yell at the headline, that's this whole channel. Subscribe, and every source is on screen and linked below so you can check me. You can print money in an afternoon. You cannot print a cow. The herd is real. The weight is real. And your burger is going to cost what it costs until the calves born this spring grow up.